Hello, everyone. Welcome to our info session on occupational health and safety for the spring summer 2026 session. My name is Mashur Chaudhry, and I'm the manager of sales and recruitment for the China School. Before we get started, I'd like to acknowledge the land on which Toronto Metropolitan University is built upon. Toronto is in the Dish with One Spoon territory. Dish with One Spoon is a treaty between the Anishinaabe, Mississaugas, and Haudenosaunee that bound them to share the territory and protect the land. I thank the Indigenous peoples of Turtle Island for their efforts to protect the land, and I deeply regret the past injustices they have endured. As Toronto Metropolitan University seeks to move forward in partnership with Indigenous people, I pledge to foster an environment that is more inclusive and welcoming of peoples from all communities. Now I'd like to go over a few items so you know how to participate in today's session. Your microphone is muted throughout the event so as not to disturb other attendees or their presenters. For the hearing impaired, we have automated captioning available, which you can access by activating it in the toolbar at the bottom of your screen. You can submit your questions for today's speakers at any time by typing them into the question box of the control panel. We'll collect them throughout the session and address them during the Q&A. Now I'd like to introduce our presenters for today. Chanya Pan, Academic Coordinator of the Certificate at the Chang School, Melissa Caruso, Instructor of the Certificate, and Janet Holt, a recent student of the Certificate and Health and Safety Vice President at an energy company. Now, before we introduce our next speaker to take you through a presentation, we'd like to do a quick poll. And I'm just going to go ahead and share my screen to get this poll started. So we're trying a different tool this time. It's called Mentimeter. If you all could open up your browser and go to menti.com and enter the code that's on the screen there, 65194243, and answer the question. So the question is, what is your current level of knowledge in this field or about the certificate in general? You've got three options. One is high, I'm well informed about the field. Next is moderate, I have basic awareness. And then last is low, which is I have minimal or no prior knowledge. So I've seen we've got 8 people logged in already, 7 responded. We'll just leave it on for just a few more seconds for everyone to join in. But it looks like most of the people have moderate and basic awareness of this field. And then we've got some which are high, and then a couple which are low, minimal or no prior knowledge, which is not an issue at all because we do see that with a lot of our prospective students. All right, there's one more poll, which is what motivated you to most consider the certificate? You could go ahead and answer that one as well. The code is 65194243. And the options here are career change, skill building for current role, personal interest, career advancement, and other. So once again, if you could just pop open menti.com and enter the code that's on top here, 65194243, and you can quickly do this poll. It really helps us do the poll because it allows us to provide some feedback to our team and to our panelists and speakers that are on the call today. So we'll leave that on for just a couple of more seconds, and then we will move on to the presentation. But thank you all for joining in today, and thanks for taking part in this poll. So it looks like career change and career advancements are the ones that are the top. And then we've got one for skill building for current role and one personal interest, which is great to see. Whoever has the personal interest in occupational health and safety, um, welcome to the session. Okay, I'm gonna go ahead and end the poll here, and I'll pass it back to Randall to share the presentation screen. Perfect, thank you. Now I'd like to introduce our academic coordinator and invite Chun to provide a brief overview of the certificate and share how it can help you develop the skills you need to advance in your career in this field. Welcome, Chun.
Great. Thank you very much, Mash. Welcome, everyone. I hope you're having a good afternoon. So as Mash said, I am the academic coordinator. So I provide guidance to students and the instructors from an academic perspective related to the three health and safety certificates we have. So I will provide the overview about the program. So on this first slide, you'll see that there are three different occupational health and safety or OHS certificates. The first one being the Basic Occupational Health and Safety or OHS certificate, which is strictly online. There's 8 courses and it takes about 2 years to complete. When you complete that, you can move on to the Occupational Health and Safety Leadership Certificate or the Advanced Safety Management Certificate. Both of those are online as well. There are fewer number of courses in the OHSL program with only 4 courses, therefore only takes you about 1 year, whereas for the Advanced Safety Management or ASM, there are 8 courses and that will take you about 2 years' time to complete. Next slide, please. So in terms of some of the trends related to the occupational health and safety industry, this was recently updated based on some of the professional magazines that I am subscribed to. But some of the things that we're looking at from a health and safety perspective is the fact that we have to adopt new technology. So we're not talking about chat AI or chat GPT necessarily. We're looking at adopting technology to aid in health and safety exposure assessments or in monitoring workers, especially those individuals that might be working alone. So rather than being on site, you can now do this all remotely in one singular location. However, you need to put in place proper protocols and policies to make sure that those individuals who are in secluded areas are going to be attended to in case there's an emergency. Harassment and workplace violence has been a growing issue for a number of years now. Unfortunately, there doesn't seem to be much of an end to that. So we need individuals to have some knowledge in that particular area to try to curb those number of incidents. Uh, Such harassment and violence in the workplace can lead to mental health uh, of the workers. And so that will mean possibly more claims, more absences, et cetera, et cetera. The next thing we're looking at are criminal prosecutions related to any violations with respect to the Occupational Health and Safety Act and its regulations. So this is becoming much more prominent. And so that's why it's important for organizations to be compliant with the regulations at a minimum. Musculoskeletal disorders are related to awkward postures, prolonged standing, prolonged sitting, manual lifting, et cetera, et cetera. So these are things that are not going away either in terms of the fact that it's one of the most common occupational disease claims. Um, the other issue we're facing is a lot of training related to occupational health and safety. This is where AI does come into play, that people are getting the passing grade on these training certificates, but they're using AI to complete these tests. And so basically, the individual is not actually gaining knowledge. They're using the AI to complete the certificate for them. And then they're going out there to claim that they have the knowledge in a certain topic within occupational health and safety, which is rather problematic when it could lead to an incident in the workplace. The other thing that's of concern is personal protective equipment or PPE training. So we need to make sure that individuals are wearing PPE properly. So therefore, you need to make sure that the training is appropriate to ensure that people are aware of the hazards and in turn know which piece of personal protective equipment is appropriate. And then lastly, it's supervisor responsibilities. According to the Occupational Health and Safety Act, supervisors have a certain role with regards to occupational health and safety. Unfortunately, studies have shown that some of these individuals are not aware of some of their responsibilities. And so if they're not aware, then that means that the people that report to them are likely not aware. So this causes a domino effect. So certainly that gap needs to be addressed. Next slide, please. So in terms of career path options, just for your information, that in the province of Ontario, uh, workplaces are legally required to have an occupational health and safety policy and make sure that that is implemented. And so having knowledge of occupational health and safety is very important in a multitude of different industries, whether they be private or public. So certainly construction, which is notorious for a large number of incidents in the workplace. Similarly, you have heavy industry like mining and forestry, which is also considered a quote unquote unsafe workplace. Hospitals, given the number of individuals that are working in the healthcare setting, plus the fact that if they're not able to be healthy to care for patients, then patient care will also suffer. Then there's other workplaces as well where you're looking at educational institutions, transportation sector, as well as government. All these workplaces will require some occupational health and safety expertise. Next slide, please. So in terms of the different job titles that are possible once you complete your certificates, on the left-hand side are the ones that are more general, early entry roles, whereas on the right-hand side you have more advanced roles, typically when you have some years of experience in the occupational health and safety sector. So I won't read them all off, but just give you a sense that you can be a OHS coordinator, OHS advisor. Typically, those are some starting roles that you can consider uh, being a part of when you first graduate. And then moving on, you can become a manager, a director, a vice president, even in those situations after you've gained sufficient experience in the field. Next slide, please. So in terms of some of the highlights related to our certificate, we do have industry professionals that do teach our courses. So Melissa can speak about that a bit more. We do offer flexible learning. So basically, because everything is virtual, you learn at your own pace, essentially. So you can work around if you have care responsibilities or you're working full time, you can work around those schedules. Um, our program is accredited, meaning that afterwards, when you complete the certificates, you can qualify for the educational requirements to meet the professional designations. We do have intensive course options available for some of our courses. That'll be coming up actually next month or in May. I can't remember the exact date, but that allows you to finish one course in a week's time, therefore allowing you to complete the rest of the certificate much faster. With regards to the designation, we talked about the fact that you can get a professional designation. If you complete all three certificates, you do qualify for what's known as the Canadian Registered Safety Professional or CRSP exam, and that is the most recognized safety designation in the country. If you just complete the OHS certificate, which is the very first certificate, that will allow you to challenge the CRST, which is Canadian Registered Safety Technician educational requirement, so you can write the exam for that. And certainly, if you continue on with the more advanced certificates, you could end up in management as well as leadership roles. Next slide, please. So some of the benefits, once you enroll in a program with TMU, you are given access to all these different benefits here in terms of career advice, industry connections, having access to a variety of different resources at TMU, like the library and learning center, and then also access to financial support. Next slide, please. And that's it for my part. So I will pass it back on to Mash. Thank you.
Thank you so much. And next, we'll turn to Melissa Caruso, who's an instructor in the certificate. Melissa brings over 12 years of experience as a health and safety business partner at a major grocery chain. Welcome, Melissa, and thank you so much for sharing your knowledge with us.
Great, thank you. Hello, everyone. So as Mash mentioned, I am Melissa Crusoe, one of the instructors in the Chang School. In addition, I also am a Canadian registered safety professional. So I've had my designation for about 8 years as well. I just want to touch a little bit on this program and kind of where I come as an instructor in my experience. So one of the most valuable aspects, as Chen mentioned, is that all of the instructors are working in the health and safety field. So they really bring their practical experience that enables them to, relate the course material to real world knowledge in the classroom, and so that you can go out into the field and use that knowledge and apply it. This hands-on perspective helps students better understand how theoretical concepts are applied in practice. Just one example is in our physical agents course, which I have taught in the past. It actually incorporates workplace simulations using industrial hygiene equipment. And then these simulations provide students the opportunity to observe and practice how such equipment would be used in a real life scenario in the health and safety field. So just one example there. In addition, health and safety legislation and regulations are always changing, so it is really important that the instructors remain active in the field and can adapt that course content and include it in our teachings and our discussions, etc. Something else that I've also brought to the online, I guess, course online world is that sometimes it's different to connect online with your fellow students, etc. But it really does bring different perspectives and individuals from all different areas, and that really builds relationships and connections. And one of the benefits is also just having connections with individuals in the health and safety field. Students meet each other, one might work in a different field, and then they really have those connections afterwards. And so just having that also is a huge benefit to this program. So that's my experience.
Thank you so much for sharing that, Melissa. The workplace simulation sounds really cool, and you're so right about having the different perspectives come in when you're in that online environment. So thanks for sharing that. Now we'll turn to welcome Janet, who is a student in the certificate and also Vice President of Health and Safety Field Support at an energy company. With over 25 years of experience in the field, Janet will share a little bit about her journey in the program and how it connects to the sector. Welcome, Janet.
Perfect. Thank you so much, Mash, and really happy to be here today. So, as Mash said, I've actually over 26 years working. And because there was a number of people in the poll that sort of said that they were doing this for a career change or a career advancement, I'll give you a little bit of my background real quick. I actually started in human resources, so I did not start in health and safety. And then I worked in operations for 12 years, all with the same company. And then I started in health and safety 5 years ago. I'm also a mom of two teenagers and a wife to my husband, and we live in Peterborough. And I have a real passion for health and safety. And when I accepted a director position in health and safety back in 2020. I very quickly grew a real passion for health and safety and was interested in learning more. So I did enroll in the Certificate of Occupational Health and Safety in the spring of 2024. I was also interested in getting, and I'm in the process of getting my CRSP designation. So I was actually able to do the course in 1 year, which was pretty aggressive, I will admit. But I did take advantage of two of the intensive courses. So that did allow me some semesters to do 3 courses, but one of them was intensive. Now, when we say intensive, they're not lying. It is Monday to Friday, pretty much 9 to 5. So it is the full week. But it is a great way to be able to complete a course, and you do become fully immersed in it during that week. So that can be an advantage as well. So for the first semester, I did 3 courses, but one of them was intensive. Then I did, and the rest were online. And as Melissa said, and I believe she was one of my instructors for one of the classes, the online classes are fantastic, and they are very interactive. And as a older student going back to school after 20 plus years, I was able to juggle working full time, having a family and all of the obligations with a family, as well as be able to keep up with the schoolwork. It is some work for sure, but there is a lot of flexibility where you can sort of make it work for you, and you can make sure that you get your assignments and your quizzes and stuff like that done while you can. So as I said, I did complete the program in 12 months, which again was aggressive, but it is doable. The last semester, again, I did an intensive class and then did 2 online as well. The program was fantastic. The instructors were fantastic. As Melissa says, there's a real advantage to having people who are still in the field and in the industry. They were really able to bring some real life examples, and really they were top quality instructors. So I was thrilled with that, and the knowledge that I've gained has been very beneficial to my organization, to myself, and has allowed me to advance my career. I was recently appointed to a vice president role within health and safety, which I'm very honored to have. And this education certainly did assist me in being able to get that. So that was my experience. So thank you.
Thank you so much, Janet, for sharing your story with us, and congratulations on the 26 years in the field. It's an extraordinary milestone. We truly appreciate you being such a strong champion of the certificate and providing us that perspective. It's always inspiring to hear that. Thank you. So thank you to all of our speakers. Now that ends the presentation portion of today's session. We'll now begin the Q&A, and it's now open for everyone to put in your questions. You can type them into the question box, and we'll get them answered. So first question we already have here is this course same, or is there any similarities between the occupational health nurse courses, or is it something different? So I believe, yeah, go ahead, Sean.
I really can't answer that. You would have to talk to the occupational health nursing professional group to see whether or not. Having said that, we do have nurses take some of our courses, so it's not uncommon, but whether or not it allows you to get the occupational health nursing designation, you'd have to talk to the professional group.
Yeah, that's exactly what I was going to say, but yeah, thank you for that answer. Next question is, are the courses more discussion-based, project-based, exam-based? So if we could expand a little bit on that.
So I can start. It's really a combination, and it really does vary from class to class. So some of them were group project based, but don't let that intimidate you. As an older student coming back in and not really knowing people, that type of thing, a lot of the group projects were actually fantastic, and you build some great relationships. And there's a lot of different assignments. So Melissa kind of touched on it, especially in the physical agents class, where there's different like labs and different simulations that you're doing. Sometimes it's with a group. But again, you're able to coordinate it online. You're given time, and you're given time frames of when certain things are due. So you have plenty of time to be able to coordinate with everyone to be able to do it. And then some is, papers, and some of it's exams and quizzes. So it really does vary by the class on what the makeup is, but there is certainly a variety of it.
Awesome. Thank you. Thanks for sharing that. Next question is, how are new technologies, automation, or changing work environments influencing the occupational health and safety practices in the program? So maybe all of you can touch on it a little bit.
Melissa, do you want to go first, perhaps?
Sure.
Okay.
I'll start. Um, I would say in my role, for example, I would say it's influencing it a lot more because I think like that health and safety is important. It's a key aspect of workplaces because we are seeing this automation and new technologies, but also with that, it can never replace the person, right? So we can use AI to our advantage for like hazard recognition and things like that. So I guess it just kind of changes how maybe we do our jobs in some certain scenarios. But definitely, I think that it can help us, but it can never replace that health and safety, professional, because we always need to analyze that data. And then also, just kind of speaking on the AI aspect of it, when injuries happen, we need to make sure that we also still have that human aspect and empathy there. So just kind of to touch base on that, and obviously AI or automation or something can't do that, but it can make us more effective in preventing injuries. So that's kind of just a start.
Yeah, I can add to what Melissa said. She had a fantastic answer, and really, technology is a tool, but I don't see it replacing health and safety professionals for exactly what Melissa said. You know, the human component. And even AI, you still need that human verification, but it's a tool that we can use that is certainly enhancing what we're doing. And a lot of the technologies are, for example, like working alone. If an employee or a worker was working in a remote area, there's some great technology even on iPhones that can be utilized now, which really does help protect people, whether you're a worker or just out on personal. So there's some fantastic technology out there, but I seriously see it as being an enhancement to what we're already doing. I don't see it as being a replacement.
Yeah, and I'll just add to that last bit here, based on the research that I've been following with regards to adoption of the technology. Again, agree with both responses by Melissa and Janet. The other thing is that you can't take away that human element because what may lead to an incident varies from workplace to workplace. Even within the workplace, it could vary. And the only way to do that is to have that human knowledge to help analyze the situation. Certainly, you can use the technology to help with finding trends, et cetera, et cetera. But in terms of trying to prevent it from happening again, I think you really need to have that human professional to analyze the situation because, again, every single um, uh, incident that does happen in the workplace does vary slightly. So,
Awesome. Thank you, all three of you for that. Next question is, how lucrative is this certificate for the supply chain industry? If that's an industry that this is the certificate applies to, and how many courses are we expected to complete in the entire 2 years of all three certificates?
I can only answer the second question. I'm not sure what we're talking about supply chain exactly. But in terms of the number of courses you have to complete for the Occupational Health and Safety Certificate, the very first one, it's 8 courses. Typically, that's over a 2-year period. You cannot register in two certificate programs at the same time. So if you're in the OHS certificate, you have to take all the courses related to the OHS certificate. Once you complete that, then you can move on to the other certificate, either the Advanced Safety Management or the Occupational Health and Safety Leadership. The OHS Leadership is 4 courses, so that can be done within 1 year. And then the Advanced Safety Management is 8 courses, and we're suggesting about 2 years. So all together for all three certificates, you're looking at about 5 years.
Perfect. Thank you. Next, we have a question for Janet. Is from your work experience, what are the most important competencies new health and safety professionals need when entering the field?
Yeah, that's a fantastic question. So thank you. And there's a number of competencies, and it really depends on where in health and safety you want to be. Leadership is certainly a competency that, depending on if you want to be a manager, director, or an executive, you would need those leadership skills. I would also say that the people piece is huge in health and safety. And a lot of what we do is relationships. And we're effective because of the relationships that we have that we're able to build with employees, with other departments. One of my favorite sayings is you can't do safety to people, you need to do it with them. And so you really need to be able to be collaborative. You need to be able to meet what their needs are. But there are times where you do need to, maybe take a strong stance on something, especially if something is unsafe. So, and I would also say innovation, and that sort of goes to, the world around us is changing very quickly. There's lots of new technologies, not lots of different ways of doing things. And so you do need to be able to adapt to those things as things change. Even in the 5 years I've been doing specifically health and safety, things have changed very differently. And so you just need to be able to adapt to that. But those are some of the key competencies, I would say. But the people piece is a big piece that sometimes people don't talk about, but you do need to be able to have those good communication and be able to build those relationships with people.
Perfect. Thank you. So yeah, a few more questions coming in. Let's dive into the next one is, hi, are the course contents relevant to all the provinces in Canada? Are there any provinces that have different standards?
I'll take the first crack at this question. So, because we are situated in Ontario, there is an Ontario focus, and that is just simply because most of our instructors are based in Ontario, so they're familiar with the Occupational Health and Safety Act and the regulations based in Ontario. Having said that, outside of the law course, we provide Ontario as an example. The other stuff is a lot related to best practices. So what industry best practices that apply regardless of where you're situated in the country. And so there are some nuances between the provinces and the regulations, but in terms of best practices, it's the same across the board from an industry perspective.
Yeah, I would echo exactly what Chun said. Yeah, a lot of it's based on Ontario, but it is certainly very applicable, and the concepts are there. And so, yeah, there's little nuances and differences between the provinces, but you certainly have the base and the skill set that you would be very easy to transfer to other provinces.
And just to add on that, as someone who has supported sites from east to west in Canada, and obviously my expertise is in the Occupational Health and Safety Act, I would say definitely when you get that foundation of legislation and the regulations, definitely, yeah, those little nuances are there, but you can apply those concepts to other provinces and understand the legislation and interpret it appropriately.
Amazing. Thank you. Okay, so next question is very interesting. Does the majority of the jobs in the field require you to have access to a vehicle and have a driver's license? So is that needed in majority of the positions available?
So I could take a crack at that. I think it really depends on what industry you go into. And the reality is, health and safety is required in every industry, whether it's the restaurant industry, whether it's construction industry, it's required everywhere. So it would really depend on which industry you went into and sort of the geographic span of the company that you were working for. So if they were, dispersed across the province or across the country, yeah, there might be some travel required. But if it's a company that's within, for example, Toronto, driving may not be required. So it really depends on what type of industry you're interested in, and what company you're going, because companies can be small, they need health and safety people. Companies can be large and they need health and safety people. So that would be my answer on that one.
Okay, well, that's good to know. Thank you so much, Janet. Next question is, while taking this certificate program, do you recommend taking steps to get hands-on experience in our current fields? So someone, Sarah, thank you for your question, works in a healthcare setting and is wondering, would it be beneficial to join a joint health and safety committee?
Yes, 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 yes. I can't say yes enough to that one. Always important to become involved in your joint health and safety committee. It's a very important role that we have. It's part of our internal responsibility system, but it would certainly give you some great exposure to some of the health and safety challenges that your workplace may face, and will certainly give you some exposure to some of the legislation and some of the requirements. So I would say yes, it's definitely would be a positive thing, and it's also a great thing to have on a resume that you were part of the Joint Health and Safety Committee.
And then on that note, in addition to that, I've also suggested to my students to shadow the occupational health and safety team. If you are working in an organization that has an occupational health and safety team, then you shadow them to see what they do, maybe go out for coffee with them, talk to them as well. And that's a way to immerse yourself in the field. There's another thing that you can do is to be a student member of some of the professional associations, like the Occupational Hygiene Association of Ontario. We do have a mentorship program whereby a seasoned professional would mentor someone who is learning about the field or entering the field. So they just recently graduated. So to again get another point of view about the profession, because everyone has come from a different background, and it's good to have these different perspectives to get a sense of how you can become a better health and safety professional. This is the career path that you want to choose.
And just on that, because we're on the same topic, someone's saying that they have a joint health and safety committee certificate. Will this give me any credit or advantage in occupational health and safety?
You won't necessarily get a credit because it's not a university level course, so we can only offer a credit for a university level course. But certainly in terms of advantage, you might have some additional knowledge that someone who doesn't have health and safety. But again, as we talked about at the very beginning when we did the polling, for those of you who are transitioning into careers, our program is designed for individuals like that who don't necessarily have a background in health and safety. So you start off with some of the more foundational courses, like the law course, like the Intro to Occupational Health and Safety, and then you get more specific knowledge depending on the courses that you take after the fact.
Brilliant. Thank you, Sean. Next question, maybe Melissa, you can start with this one is, are students introduced to industry standards or frameworks commonly used by safety professionals?
I would say absolutely. Throughout all the different courses that I've seen, there's obviously, a number of different, industry standards. Well, typically we do reference, as far as regulations go, like CSA standards, etc. But definitely, there's all different types of tools that we use in health and safety. I'll just bring up one example. Like a workplace hazard assessment tool. There's all different, I would say, different ones that I've seen, ones that I use in my day-to-day workplace. But those types of things are definitely shared in the courses. And like Chun mentioned, it's the best practices. So those are definitely in across all the courses for sure.
Awesome. Thank you, Melissa, for sharing that. And next question is, as someone not currently working, are there often volunteer or other opportunities within the safety field to get some hands-on experience?
That's a great question. I would say maybe try with some nonprofit organizations. They would likely have some volunteer opportunities that would be related to health and safety. I think a lot of it would depend on your background too and your previous experiences. But that would be my suggestion for getting some volunteer experience. Even hospitals would be a great, or healthcare would be a great avenue to look at as well.
Yeah, and just to add to that too, like making, different connections. I think Chun mentioned it, like if you know anyone, that maybe works in the field or, parents or friends, etc., and see if you can maybe shadow their health and safety, department for the day and see what they do. Just try to immerse yourself as much into health and safety as you can. Find any opportunity, ask individuals. That's what I did when I was interested in health and safety. And full circle, I actually did a project at my now workplace when I was in my undergrad, and just by making that connection. So.
That's great perspective. Thanks, Melissa. Okay, we have one more question, and I know we've gotten a few questions about employment and job roles and prospects and opportunities. But this one is, do employers recognize this certificate when hiring for health and safety roles? If, all of you could touch on it a little bit, that'd be great.
Absolutely. It's certainly recognized. You may not know, but TMU has a long established occupational health and safety presence, both at the undergraduate level, now at the graduate level, and then also through the Chang School. So we are well recognized for providing health and safety education to students, whether they be at the undergraduate level, again, graduate level, or in the certificate program.
And I can kind of give my perspective as well. Um, when I um, when I wanted to go into the field, I had a post-degree diploma in health and safety, and that's definitely something on a resume that workplaces like to see, even if it's an entry-level job like a health and safety, specialist or technician, etc. Definitely something that they want to see. And as Chun mentioned, the Chang School is has a well-known certificate program, and I know a number of my coworkers that have taken it, and also in the undergrad program as well.
And I think it also speaks volumes that it's recognized for the CRSP and the CRST as well. That speaks volumes to the quality of the program, and that it's recognized. And it is certainly something that employers look at, even if you don't necessarily want to get into health and safety. Any job you want to apply for, and if an employer sees that you've taken some health and safety, that is going to, in my opinion, give you a leg up, because health and safety is affected in any role within an organization. It's not just the health and safety department, it's every employee within an organization has a role to play in health and safety. So I definitely think that it's recognized and it's certainly valuable.
That's amazing. Thank you. Thank you so much for all of you sharing your perspectives. I think we had some really good questions and some really great perspectives and answers from all of you. So I know we are almost at time. And yeah, I'd like to thank everybody for joining in today. Thank you to our presenters and for everyone else for taking the time out of your day to attend our online session. If you're interested in more information about the certificate presented today, please visit our website at continuing.torontomu.ca. And if you have any other questions, you can also contact me directly at mash.chaudhry@torontomu.ca. You will receive a follow-up email with this information, the recording of this session, as well as a survey within the next 24 to 48 hours. And on behalf of the Chang School and our presenters, thank you so much for joining us today and have a great rest of the day.